Hello and welcome to Health Matters, coming to you live from Channels Television. I am Yomi Otaigbe. We are glad to have you with us on the program as we focus on why the size of your waistline matters more than you think. We'll be looking past the aesthetics of having a flat stomach to address the surprisingly common causes, uncover the real dangers, and most importantly, shed light on the prevention of belly fat that may be wrapped around your vital organs. My guest will join me in a moment for this crucial conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Belly fat, particularly visceral fat that surrounds internal organs, is a major health concern, even for individuals with normal weight. What are the lifestyle choices and other factors linked to this serious health risk? These and other questions will be answered by a consultant physician and cardiologist. He's also the Director of Clinical Services and Training at the General Hospital, Ikorodu, Lagos. Dr. Olalekan Karim, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so in my introduction, I mentioned lifestyle choices, some of those things that could be the risk factors for belly fat. Let's start by you telling us more about, those things that drive, larger waistlines.
Okay, thank you very much. To start with, waistline itself is the driver for majority of diseases that affect us now in Nigeria and world over. And the normal waistline for men it begins to give issue when it is more than 94 centimeters. And it becomes particularly dangerous when it is more than 102 centimeters in men. And it is dangerous, the risk increases when it is more than 80 in women, and it becomes dangerous when it is more than 88 centimeters. And how is it measured? This, what I have said, how do you measure it? It is around the navel, the umbilicus. When you go around it with ordinary tape, the measurements should be lower than 94 centimeters in men and 88 centimeters in women. And what are the drivers of this belly fat? And I must also say that belly fat is not just cosmetic concern. In our environment, it used to be seen as if you have a larger belly fat or larger abdomen, you are likely to be more. There's
some saying in Yoruba that came to my mind.
Yes, yes. I actually thought of that too. Yes. And that has been the perception of majority of people. Now we know that it is not just that way. It is the major driver to majority of diseases that commonly kill people now. And what are the drivers? What are the things that cause these lifestyle issues? Our choices of diet, exercise, social habits like taking of alcohol, other lifestyle issues like number of hours of sleep that we have, and stressful lifestyle. All this. I'll take them one after the other.
So we'll start with the poor diet.
Poor diet. You see, excess diets, particularly those that are commonly rich in sugar, sugary drinks, however they come, in whatever name they give them. What we advise generally is that whatever that is not water in a bottle, it is not likely to be healthy. Every other thing will just be sugar and any other ingredient. So these sugary or fizzy drinks are actually very, very dangerous. They cause more like, they give you excess calorie, and these are stored everywhere in the body, particularly in the abdomen. Talking about diet also, we talk about food, especially particularly those that are made of flour, pastries, eating of fast food. And I made mention of alcohol earlier. Any amount of alcohol now poses danger to health. Gone are the days when you hear cardiologists say that alcohol can be taken without say mild, moderate, or whatever.
Red wine is good for the heart.
As much as it contains alcohol. WHO in a recent statement, and that was about 2 years ago or so, mentioned that alcohol, the risk in alcohol begins with the first drop. So this is to say that alcohol in its entirety is bad. If it is not causing a problem in the liver, it is causing something in the brain or something in the tummy or somewhere else. So, and that is why belly fat is also called beer belly. And gone are the days, again, that it is a common wide perception that people will refer to people that take a lot of alcohol. When the pot belly or the beer belly start developing, they'll say, oh, this is they'll see affluence in that one. So
evidence of good living.
Evidence of good living, yes, that is the usual heart. Yeah, he has evidence of good living. And now we know that pot belly is a driver for majority of disease, things that were not here before. It is a major driver. So that's about diet. Then we move on to sedentary lifestyle, which means that generally speaking, the level of activity is reducing generally in Nigeria and world over. Now, I think since COVID year, people now, we have learned to work from home, engage in a lot of other activities that you can actually all those other activities that we did then, being physically involved, we now do them remotely now. And you see, the influence of this is that we tend to accumulate more fast. I spoke initially about taking enough excess diet. Now, this excess diet is taken in, but we are not expending the diet. It's supposed to be energy stored. And as you keep taking in more, and the irony here is that we are taking excess diet. When a few of us will say we don't even eat, we're going to take anything at all, it will now be those kind of diet that will now be dense in calorie, like these VC drinks, like these energy drinks. They are so compact in energy that you take them and you refuse to use them, so they get stored. So the sedentary lifestyle is becoming an epidemic around us here. In recent studies, the prevalence of obesity generally is about between 15 and 50%. And we now see that among executives is even higher. These are people that will get to the office, or they work from home, or they are in the office. They are not even moving around. They give all directions via phone calls, verbal instructions. The level of activity has reduced significantly. These are some of the causes of belly fat. Additionally, we talk about absence of sleep, adequate sleep. Normally, every individual adult should have between 7 and 9 hours of sleep every night. And 4 hours of this should come at a stretch. Not 1 or 2 hours you wake up that way. The lower the number of hours of sleep, the more likely that there will be hormonal disruptions that will increase the hunger hormones, that will now disrupt, that will not lead to accumulation of belly fat. So that is also that's part of causes of belly fat.
Okay, we'll still come to stress, because I know that stress is also
that's another very important.
Okay, maybe you should touch on that before I go on to.
Yes, stress is one major thing that drives belly fat, and because especially the executives, you will hear something like, "Oh, I don't eat." Though some of us will leave the house early in the morning, we don't even eat till 4 or 5 p.m. and you realize the fact that the belly is becoming bigger and bigger, and you know what is going on here. Stress is a major contributor to belly fat. And why? Is because stress releases a kind of hormone that is called cortisol. Cortisol is one major hormone that encourages development of belly fat. And belly fat, like we have said, when we say belly fat, it's abdominal fat, central obesity. These are various terminologies that have been used. It includes that fat that is just right under the skin. That one you can pinch. And it also includes
that pinchable one. The
pinchable one is part of it, but the more dangerous one is the inner one that surrounds the abdominal organs, which we call the visceral fat. So, and that is one that is particularly more dangerous. It is because it is like a chemical factory in the body. The fat that are deposited elsewhere in the body, they are just there for structure, for other purposes.
Because sometimes that fat also protects the organs. In some cases, right?
The fats that are deposited around the organs inside the tummy, they don't have any protective, yet protection very minimal, but then they act more like chemical factories. They produce those chemicals. These hormones are the chemicals I'm talking about. And these hormones, they counter the effect of insulin. They counter other beneficial hormone, their effects, and they lead to a lot of diseases that we'll talk about after.
Okay, let me touch on, for women, let me speak for women. So women will say, oh, I've had a child or two, and that's why my waistline is not what it used to be. Is that a valid reason?
It might be, because hormonal imbalance is a known cause of increased belly fat. So, and you know, as women age, There will usually be differences in the hormone, the sex hormone, the estrogen, the androgens, the combination, the interplay between androgen and estrogen can actually be a factor in development of belly fat. But all in all, of course, there can also be genetic predisposition to belly fat. Just like we're talking about women after delivery. Some actually will tell you after CS, that is when their tummy starts getting bigger. But all this, there is still that danger that it can lead to harmful effects.
So genetically, people can, even though they're not eating so much or packing so much calories, they can have the belly fat because of their genes.
There are a few number of people that can actually inherit that. But then it has a lot of environmental influence. Genetic, fine, but there are a lot of environmental influence. Saying that even if I have inherited that gene to have that belly fat, but if I exercise more, I eat less, it is very unlikely I will develop that belly fat.
Exercise more and eat less. Okay, let's talk about the consequences now, because yes, these things, we see them, but some people may not know that, they have, very dire consequences for health.
Yes, like I said earlier, belly fat is a driver to majority of diseases. What are these consequences? It promotes inflammation all over the body. It is a chemical, the belly fat is a chemical factory located right inside the tummy. And these chemicals move around the entire body. And one of the first effects is the fact that it increases inflammation. Inflammation, how would I explain inflammation? I would say that it hardens the arteries. It makes the organs work under stress, and it ages them faster than they should age. And that is where we talk about what is your cardiovascular age. When somebody's heart is aging faster than the person, when somebody's brain is aging faster than the person. So this is one major harmful effect of accumulating belly fat. Number two, cardiovascular disease. This includes the stroke, includes heart attack, and even hypertension on its own. These are consequences of belly fat. People that have belly fat are at risk of developing stroke, hypertension, heart attack, and other cardiovascular diseases. Belly fat also promotes development of type 2 diabetes, which is particularly because we know that with belly fat, you have what we call insulin resistance. Again, some hormones that are produced by this belly fat antagonize the effects of insulin. And by that, development of type 2 diabetes mellitus starts. So another very important part is that one. And they also have sleep disorders. See, people that have belly fat, they don't sleep very well. Like I said earlier, not sleeping very well can cause belly fat. You develop this belly fat, the sleep, it becomes worse again. And that cycle continues that way. See, such people are likely to snore very deeply. When they sleep for whatever number of hours, they may have reduced number of sleep, that is one. When they now have the perception, oh, I've slept for 10 hours, they are not refreshed. See, they wake up tired. They wake up as if, no, I've not gotten enough. They wonder, after having slept for the number of hours over the night, I'm still not refreshed. I still feel like getting more. Because that obstructive sleep apnea, they are the ones that are likely to snore. They stop breathing, they change positions frequently. Additionally, belly fat can cause increased predisposition to certain cancers, including that of the breast cancer, including cancer of the colon, cancer of the pancreas. These cancers are more in people that have belly fat than other general population. Belly fat, especially when they are around the liver, can also cause what we call fatty liver. And fatty liver is actually a disease that progresses depending on the individual and other factors. When it increases, it can eventually lead to cirrhosis. Cirrhosis is like saying that the work of the liver has reduced drastically. And for some people, it can eventually lead to cancer of the liver also. Or cirrhosis is enough to kill. It's telling us that the main cells in the liver, they are reduced. They are not working at even close to average capacity. So it's particularly reduced. So, and that such a person, the likelihood of long-term survival is reduced. So these are some consequences of...
Certainly we don't want these consequences because they don't sound good at all.
They don't at all.
So let's talk about the prevention. I'm sure it will be tied back to the causes. So let's
Yes.
take them one by one.
Fine. And I want to sound this that, generally, we're talking about fats. People will believe that fat is about being big altogether, general body fat. Belly fat, you don't, we have to, when we say the question is, the topic is belly fat. And I said belly fat has two components, the subcutaneous fat, that is the one right under the skin, the one you can pinch, and the one, the visceral fat, that is deeply seated inside. Some people, you may not even have that pot belly, and then the visceral fat is more.
Okay.
We have some clinical signs that we look for to say, oh, this person may have carton. I want to send them for certain tests. We see that, oh, this person has a belly fat.
So it's not just if you're big on the big side
it's
of
not
your
just
tummy,
that one.
It's just that the fat could be there.
It could be there. It's not just when they are generally big, because people have fat in other areas of the body. Women will have it up there, down there. Those ones are not the kind of, they are actually also fat, but they may not have that, they may not produce those chemicals that we mentioned earlier.
Let me quickly remind our viewers that they can join us in this conversation. The number to call will be right on your screen. It's 0808-054-2233, 0808-054-2233. You can call to ask your question, brief question, and so that the doctor can answer you. So we're talking about the prevention.
Yeah, the prevention, like we have always said, is about lifestyle modification. It is high time we went back to this lifestyle that is known for Africa, Nigerians and Lagosians. Though this we have said severally, most of the other doctors, and this is one of the things we have said, we have westernized our lifestyle. And this we are saying that it is traditional for a Nigerian man to take vegetable. It is traditional, it is a normal thing to eat vegetable. We take our carbs in whole. But now that we have westernized our diet and our lifestyle generally. What do I mean by this? Now, taking food that are in excess of sugar.
We should avoid those.
We should avoid all those. They come as fizzy drinks, soda. All these, they don't do anything. They only deposit sugar and fats in inappropriate areas of our bodies. And
exercise, you mentioned.
Still on diet.
Okay.
Still on diet. Not taking, eating of pastries. It should be discouraged as much as possible. Still on diet, the timing of our diet also. We should, eating late at night can actually increase belly fat. So to eat very, very early in the morning, 7 to 9 for breakfast, the lunch 1 to 2, dinner 5, especially when the person is more than 40 years of age. So if we take to this, then in terms of diet.
That's for diet. I think we have Vitalis from Abuja. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. Please go ahead with your question or comment.
Okay. I just want to ask you, doctor, how would exercise help somebody in overcoming this belly fat? Because you mentioned that that lifestyle too affect this thing.
All right.
Yes, let me ask him, please. Thank you.
Okay. So he wants to know how exercise can help us. I'm sure that's where we are going now.
Okay, that's exactly where we're to this guy. Exercise can actually help, and it also depends on the type of exercise. Exercise, the most important exercise for general health is the one we refer to as cardio exercise, or aerobics, the one we generally call the aerobics or the aerobic exercise. What does that mean? Any form of exercise that will involve the movement of the limbs, your legs and hand. And that is why we encourage brisk walking very briskly. For physical activity to meet the criteria to become exercise, it will meet this following criteria: FIT, F-I-T, must be of regular frequency. It's not something you do just once or only when you feel you are chanced. It has to be of regular frequency. The second is the intensity of that exercise. That is why we emphasize moderate intensity exercise. Sometimes we do very light exercise or we feel like we have done that one. Then the third one is the time. The aerobic exercise must be more than 30 minutes every day. Then the other part of exercise is, that's for brisk walking, can also include cycling or swimming. That's aerobic exercise or cardio exercise. The type of exercise that will help abdominal fats or visceral fat or belly fat is strength exercise, which includes anything that is resistant exercise, like press up, push-ups.
We should just be very active.
We should be very active as much as possible.
We can,
and I must also add that every little steps counts. Even while you are in a meeting, as we are now, if you are spending more than 30-45 minutes, you should rise up and have that discussion.
Thank you so much. And of course, you said we should sleep well. We should avoid alcohol and all of that. Thank you so much for your time today on the program. We've been having a chat with a consultant physician and cardiologist. He's also the Director of Clinical Services and Training at the General Hospital, Ikorodu, Dr. Olalekan Karim. Thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Let's now turn our attention to some of the stories making the rounds in the health world.
The federal government has approved the disbursement of $200 million to support HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria programs in Nigeria. The wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, disclosed this at an event to commemorate the 2025 World AIDS Day in Abuja, where she also rallied the nation against HIV and AIDS, warning that donor dependency and persistent stigma threaten hard-won gains toward an HIV-free Nigeria by the year 2030.
As global funding patterns shift, we must ensure sustainability to prevent disruption of critical services. The federal government, as you have heard, has proactively approved the disbursement of $200 million to support HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria program. Furthermore, I'm also told that NACA has initiated engagements with state governments to ensure long-term ownership, continuity of the national response.
In a renewed effort to educate women on cervical cancer prevention in Adamawa State, the Northeast Development Commission is collaborating with the Medical Women Association of Nigeria Adamawa State Chapter, which has launched an intensive awareness and free screening campaign at the Specialist Hospital, Yola. The campaign is part of renewed efforts aimed at improving early detection across Adamawa State.
The medical women collaborating with Northeast Development Agency has started a program since October, being the Pink Month for cancer awareness, to sensitize the community on cancers, mainly cervical and breast cancer that affect women generally. And today we are here to continue with what we started, to do a screening, because we promised after the awareness that we're going to screen some women. We are at the State Specialist Hospital this morning to start up the screening process, which will take place today and tomorrow, and we hope to do a pap smear for 150 women. When we do this screening, it's expected that any woman that we confirm or has a problem, we will also treat them.
This cervical cancer, it's a disease that is preventable. It's a disease that when it's diagnosed early, it can be treated with a very good success rate. But unfortunately, most of our women present very late when we have really very little or nothing to offer.
Finally, the World Health Organization is reporting progress in the elimination of malaria. According to the WHO's annual World Malaria Report, to date, a total of 47 countries and 1 territory have been certified malaria-free by the WHO. Cabo Verde and Egypt were certified malaria-free in 2024, and Georgia, Suriname, and Timor-Leste joined them in 2025. Since the WHO approved the world's first malaria vaccines in 2021, 24 countries have introduced the vaccines into their routine immunization programs. Seasonal malaria chemoprevention has also been expanded and is now being implemented in 20 countries, reaching 54 million children in 2024, an increase from about 2 million in 2012. However, despite this significant progress, there were an estimated 282 million malaria cases and 610,000 deaths in 2024, roughly 9 million more cases than the previous year. The WHO urges malaria endemic countries to maintain their political commitment to ending malaria deaths as outlined in the Yaoundé Declaration. Unity and action under the Big Push initiative will help global malaria community mitigate current and future threats to achieve a malaria-free future.
That's Health Matters for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Do keep it locked on Channels Television. I am Yomi Otaigbe.